So there are going to be two parts to this video. The first part to this video, I'm going to give my non-spoiler review of the Batman, and the second part of this video I'm going to be talking full spoilers. So if you want to hear my spoiler thoughts on the Batman, then you can look at the time frame on the screen right now and skip to that part. Just very quickly before we begin, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel to get more Batman videos like this, because I'm going to be posting a lot more Batman content. Also, for everybody watching the video, leave a like, comment down below, and follow me on my social media handles. You can find my social media channels in the description so we can interact and keep the conversation going. So, my non-spoilery thoughts on the Batman is that this is the best Batman movie we've ever had, and yes, that includes The Dark Knight. As a movie though, I do think that The Dark Knight is still superior, as it's just a great all-around movie that just so happens to have Batman in it, but the Batman literally feels like a Batman movie in every way. In my previous video where I discussed how this new Batman trilogy can surpass the Dark Knight trilogy in terms of Batman accuracy, I mentioned that Detective Batman is a key reason why the Batman will outdo the Dark Knight's interpretation of the character, and after watching this film, I was exactly right. This movie was a crime mystery thriller where Batman was spending the majority of the time trying to solve the riddles and mysteries laid out by the Riddler, thus living up to what he's known for, and that's being the world's greatest detective. The tone of this movie was very grounded to the point where I don't see villains like Clayface or Killer Croc, for example, ever appearing in this incarnation of Batman, just because they seem too fantastical for this world that Matt Reeves had built, which is a shame because personally I would have preferred a balance between grounded and fantastical like Ben Affleck's Batman, where it had a nice balance between both elements. This Batman just feels like they're taking a more realistic approach again, just like they did with The Dark Knight, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it would have been nice to not be limiting in terms of what you can do in the world that you create. And even though I love this movie from start to finish, I do believe that it didn't need to be 2 hours and 55 minutes long. They could have maybe cut out a good 10 minutes of this film and it still would have been a solid film. I love the chemistry between Batman and Jim Gordon in this film though. And don't get me wrong, I love Batman and Jim Gordon's relationship in The Dark Knight, but in this movie it felt more believable. It felt more like they were actual partners. Catwoman was also a standout as well, and I think this version is my new favourite Catwoman that we had in live action so far, slightly beating out Michelle Pfeiffer's take on the character in Batman Returns. In The Batman, Catwoman had a strong motivation and reason for being in this movie, and she was a deeply layered, fleshed out character as well. And Colin Farrell's Penguin was amazing in this movie too. And when we first learned of the Penguin HBO Max series that's being developed, I was like, meh, I'll see it, but I'm not overly hyped about it. But after seeing this movie, I'm fully on board with watching this series. The way Colin Farrell played Penguin was great, and I'd even argue he had one of the best action scenes in the whole movie, which was the car chase scene between him and Batman. It's been said a million times right now, so I won't spend too much time talking about it, but his makeup was superb, and honestly, the makeup team deserves an award for it. This version of the Riddler is my second favourite Batman movie villain to date, only behind Heath Ledger's Joker. He was menacing in a creepy way, and his performance wasn't over the top. He was one step ahead of everyone, including Batman, in the film, and he's a prime example of the idea that intelligence and your mind can be more powerful and dangerous than just brute strength and brawling. And now for the main man, Robert Pattinson as Batman. Personally, I still think Ben Affleck is the best Batman physically, but Robert Pattinson is definitely not far off at all, and I want to talk more about him in my spoilers section, which is going to start right now. So if you don't want any spoilers at all for the Batman, then now's the time to click away and watch my other videos on the channel. But if you want me to talk about spoilers, if you want to hear me talk about spoilers, then continue on with the video. Coming right out of the cinema, I wasn't a huge fan of how Pattinson's Bruce Wayne was basically the exact same as Batman when he was out in public, because Batman is known for the idea that Bruce Wayne is the mask and Batman is the real person. But here, it definitely felt like they were both one and the same. But upon giving it time to let it sink in, I do believe this was done intentionally, and we're going to get the billionaire philanthropist Bruce Wayne persona in sequels. So after looking at it that way, I like this Bruce Wayne and Batman even more than I already did. Batman is, at the center, a damaged character, and we could really see that in this movie, both when Batman was in and out of the Batsuit. He keeps his words to a minimum throughout the film, and when he's out in public as Bruce Wayne, he's just staring at everyone, observing everything, because number one, he doesn't know how to connect with people, and two, he's still Batman just wearing Bruce Wayne's face. Alfred is basically the only thing that's keeping him from going over the edge and completely insane. And speaking of Alfred, I was honestly stunned when he got caught in that explosion in Wayne Manor. I literally turned to my friend and said, did they just kill Alfred? He, of course, didn't die, but you can imagine if he had died, Bruce would have literally just gone off the deep end to the point of no return, considering Alfred was his only bridge to humanity. And one of the things that I love most about the film was when we're first introduced to Batman and the moments leading up to it where Bruce was monologuing. You could really sense the tension and fear that even if he isn't actually there, Batman could literally be stalking you from anywhere and appear at any given moment. And then the brutal beatdown he gave to those thugs was great to see, as he wasn't holding back his punches at all. One of the many things I liked about this film also was the little boy Bruce kept looking at throughout the film, especially during the funeral scene, because even though no words were exchanged, you can actually tell exactly what was going through Bruce's mind when he looked at the boy who lost his father. He was thinking about him losing his own parents, and also he knows what that little boy is now going to go through growing up now that his father is no longer around. Towards the very end of the film, we got the tease of the Joker, and my next video I'm going to be talking about the ideas for the Batman 2, so subscribe to the channel to get that video. But my short quick thoughts on his cameo is that I wasn't really a fan of Barry Keoghan's line delivery and his laugh, as it didn't really feel or sound like how I envisioned Joker talking or laughing. But I'm open-minded in the sense that this is just a quick cameo, so we'll see how Barry does when the Joker is in the spotlight. Although I will say I am bummed out that William Dafoe isn't playing the Joker, because it's literally a crime that he has not played it yet. In the Spider-Man movies, he's basically playing Marvel's Joker, so it will be great to see him as the actual Joker in live action. One can only dream. Overall, I would give this movie, I'm torn. I'm torn between a 9.5 and a 9 out of 10. I literally don't know yet which rating of the two I'm going to give. It's definitely one of those two. I'm seeing it again tomorrow. As of this recording, I'll be seeing it again tomorrow, which is the Saturday. I'm recording this on the Friday. And yes, I can't give a rating yet. It's either a 9 or a 9.5. One of those two. What do you guys think of the Batman? Let me know down below in the comments. Did you like this movie? Did you not like this movie? What did you like most? What did you hate about it? Share your thoughts down below in the comments. Follow me on social media so we can keep the conversation going on the other social media channels. And as said earlier, if you're new to the channel, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later for more Batman videos.